Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you an OP Greataxe build in Wuchang Fallen Feathers. There's a couple of really powerful great axes in this game that can make any boss a lot easier. With the Empyrean Crash being the all-arounder, you can put Leech on this and it's going to shred through bosses. And we also have the Skyborn great axe, which if you buff yourself up with extra fire damage, its combustion cleaver will do an extra special attack and do a full stack of your burn up build up there, which does a huge chunk of damage. This also has a really good charge heavy attack. You can break bosses' posture extremely easy, and if you focus on dodging, you can make this extremely powerful. So as mentioned, the weapons will be the Empyrean Greataxe with the Empyrean Crash costing 2 Skyborn Might. We have the Rampage Skill on this one. I also have the Skyborn Greataxe with the Combustion Cleaver, which is a 3 Skyborn Might cost, and Block as the skill, which is really useful early on in the game. There's some bosses that are a lot easier if you have the Block. Now this has a 1 scaling in agility and 5 in strength for the Skyborn Greataxe, and 5 scaling in strength with the Empyrean Greataxe, and with the right this combination of Benedictions there, you can see we got a massive boost to our damage as that little orange glow below it. And that's because we have the Way trilogy here. So each of these, the Oath, you got the increased damage dealt with 3 disciplines, this one for 6 and this one for 9. Combined together, this gives you an additional status when you have 12 of them. So we want to collect all the different disciplines from the other skill trees. This is a massive buff to our damage, like absolutely incredible. So we want to grab as many of these as possible. However, another good one is the Shang here, Obliterate Might. So you can get Skyborn Might from this, and the Skyborn Rejuvenation, which is my personal favorite. So gaining Skyborn Might endows your attacks with Life Leech for a very short moment. So whenever you get Skyborn Might, which is often, you then get a Life Steal effect on your weapon. This is very powerful. We'll get to the skill tree in a moment, but the Rampage skill here with the boost up of variant 1 will give it so that whenever you use this skill, it does cost 1 more Skyborn Might, but then after a while, you heal yourself when you do attacks. This can make you pretty much immortal. As for pendants, I really like the Coiled Dragon pendant, which will increase your weapon skill damage, and we have 2 very good weapon skills here, so we'll take advantage of that. Twin Infant pendant will give you increased stamina recovery speed, and we want that. I think it's a little bit better than increasing your total stamina for my own testing. And I like the Stagger pendant as well, increasing the potency of your weapons. Physical attacks, obviously, it's one of the strongest ones in the game. Against certain bosses, the Draco Lich pendant is really good because it resists the roar attacks. The Demon pendant will make it so that you increase your fire damage, and this is good on the Skyborn Greataxe. The Dragonling will increase your slashing attack damage, but increases your own total damage taken, but the buff is pretty nice. Nameless Eye, reduced damage taken, never a bad choice, especially on a build like this where we incentivize to take a few hits to be able to recover life. As for spells, early game, the Echo Lu Bingzhang here is extremely useful because this gives us a dodge kind of attack, so we jump up and throw this down. Against certain bosses, this is extremely useful. Once you get ethereal form, you're going to want to use that pretty much for a long time because it allows you to absorb one attack and just not get hit by it. It has a 5-second maximum timing, but the best spell in the game is Echo Magus here. Some of these, even the secret boss gets beat by this spell because you get to take 3 hits yourself. And with a build like this, you can cast this, and if you have low health, you can then attack and recover your health because it's got a lot of life steal. This just makes you pretty much invincible. And New Game Plus, the Echo Zanyanzi here is extremely useful. Demon Bane Strike, another really good one that can knock enemies down, although we do have a lot of attacks ourselves that can knock enemies down. This is particularly useful against the demon types. Burning Flames, another really useful spell for applying burn, especially when paired with our axe. And Infernal Flames too, because this is a tracking mask, so if you have a distance on the enemy, you can cast this and just enjoy the extra burn buildup. Divine Blessing is oddly enough a really good one. This makes a heal zone, so if you're low on health, you can set this up and attack, and you're just basically invincible with this, although it does have a 4 Skyborn Might cost. If you're able to use different items to increase your Skyborn Might, pop this down, you're pretty much unhittable, or you're invincible at that point. And oddly enough, the Echo of Lu Hongliu, if we get a backstab with our Great Axe, we can cast this, and some bosses like Bow Sorcerer will get stunned again, and then we can do another backstab off on them. So this oddly enough pairs very well. Early game too. Echo of Dutang is pretty solid as well with this, especially going for burn build up. Good early game armor is the Ming armor, and you can also transmog this to look like something else, but it's high in stab and slash. But if you're going against certain bosses, some things will have increased, like this has a high blade resistance, so you're going to want to swap these around depending on what you're going against, but for the most part, the Ming armor early game and late game armor, the absolute best would be the Ghost Warrior breastplate, as this has huge stab and slash resistance, and you can also, I mean, the outfit itself looks pretty cool too. The ceramic jar will also give you increased rune acquisition, or increase XP acquisition. Just a friendly pro tip that you can use the ancient chisel to return yourself to a shrine, and it'll give you yourself a buff. So you definitely want to use this from time to time. As for the skill tree, this is at level 96, around 100. I'll be going through each leveling if you're starting off at level 1 all the way through to 100. I always recommend the first thing is just grab the health potions, and these don't take any of your red mercury, so you can always upgrade them freely. And at next, I think it's actually best to first grab ourselves the light attack Thunder's Cleave here. So in the fourth attack of our combo grants 3 stacks of Skyborn Might if it hits an enemy. That's absurd, so you can get a lot of your more powerful spells off by just doing a light attack combo. So super useful, and that's also paired with dodging. We'll also further go up here and grab the third attack. We'll also restore some stamina. This is actually really nice too because we are stamina hungry. And at this point, endurance and your vitality, you may as well just grab these and continue on up here. You can consume 1 Skyborn Might stack to quickly strike with a charged heavy attack. This is super useful to have because there's some bosses, especially early on, where we need to get that charged heavy attack off. And then fully upgrade your weapon as much as you can. This also doesn't take any levels, so you may as well go along here and grab this as well, because this will give you increased attack speed when launching late attacks at a certain pace. You can also go with a block. If you find yourself blocking a lot, take this as well. Some people don't like the blocks. So don't take it if you're not going to, because we have a better skill we'll be going for right away. Next, we'll return back to the main or left-hand side and grab the +5 vitality and buff our proportions as much as possible. It also is tempting to go over here and go into the Leech temperament. So you come down here, and then there's going to be the Leech here. So we're going to grab that. This is only on the Empyrean Greataxe. The other one is only able to use burn, so you have to choose between them. But depending on the bosses, that's what you're going to go with. I really do like the Leech temperaments because it just makes us immortal. And then once we got that, we can actually make our way back to the other side. If you find yourself playing at high madness, this is whenever you get makes you take more damage. This is good too, because the final strike of the light attack combo will heal you, and it leads to our kind of immortality. But if you play on low madness, this isn't going to be something you want to take to later. Now, early game, if you're not using the block skill, we can go and grab the Earth Shatter, which whenever you use this, it'll stun enemies, and then we can do this, which will make it so that we get higher resilience, and resilience makes it so your attacks are less easy to interrupt, so you can continually keep attack and breaking posture with that. You see their enemies kind of getting stunned, and then you can also grab this, which will expose their vulnerabilities, allowing you to get an easier attack off. But I really like going up higher in this category here. So charged heavy attacks will clash. Clash reduces the damage, which is actually crazy because if you see an enemy coming at you, you can actually charge up your attack. And when you launch it, you're going to kind of parry the attack. And it doesn't really parry, it just reduces the damage you take. And then we're going to continue up here. You can go here and buff up your weapon further and then take the left-hand side. The 5 strength is just too hard not to take. And then once we get down here to the Rampage, so this you can use Skyborn Might for great potency. You see there it's an attack, but after we take this, obviously apply it to your weapon. This is one thing that's easy to forget, so I'd recommend putting it on both, unless you like having one axe to block in case you go against an enemy that's easier to block. And this one will make it so that it costs more, and also after you do it, you recover health on your attacks, as mentioned earlier on in the video. This is extremely useful. This can also apply vulnerability on the enemy, which is nice to take too. So our attack can now weaken the enemy. We can continue attacking. If sometimes getting one of these off, especially with the Leech on, you can come from 0 health all the way back up. So that's really good. At this point, I think it's actually best to come over here and grab Chop and Weave. So whenever you're doing your light attack combo, the third attack will now clash the enemy. So you actually have a couple ways to kind of deflect some damage. The timing's actually really generous on this too, I just want to add. So this can actually deflect a lot more damage than you think it would. Next, I think it's best to go back into the skill tree over here because we can unlock more acupoints on our temperance, which is going to increase the damage and increase the charges of it. I like at this point to continue down here, increasing our Skyborn Might stacks. And then this spell is nice only if you use it. So if there's a Skyborn Might cost of 4 or more, you can't be staggered. That spell there, the Echo of Zhao Yun, is extremely useful and it can beat a lot of enemies. But if you get interrupted, you lose the casting. So it's useful if you cast those spells. If not, ignore it. This one's not even worth it because we don't use feathering. We can continue on here, get another temperance charge, and continue along to get more healing potions, since we want to focus on staying alive as much as possible. And they just buffed the game actually to allow it so that you can dodge out of your health potions now, which is massive. And it's always worth just grabbing more Skyborn Might. So we're actually putting our build together pretty heavily now. And at this point, it's best to choose if we're going to build around our magic stat or into feathering. So I would recommend building around whatever spells you found most useful. So when we're looking at things like the Echoes of Lu Bingzhang, this is a feathering. Echo of the Soulwood, Demon Bane, and Strike, these are all featherings. Typically, any of the red looking spells are going to be featherings. Anything magic looking is going to be magic. Things like ethereal form don't scale off anything, but whatever you're focusing on, that's what we're going to spec around. However, if you find yourself only using the ethereal form and later the Echo Bow Magus, it's not really worth investing in those magic points when we want to go strength. So at this point, We can continue going around the rest of the tree here to grab some more of these points. There are some buffs like high strength up here, so we can go around here, grab the buff boost to our overall weapon damage, and then come down over here to grab the +5 strength. And since we have the other benedictions, we may as well grab any of these as we can, the disciplines, because we already get 5 of them at start. Applying one more takes us up to 6, and then we can get ourselves up to 12 just by going around the trees. So most of our weapons are going to scale off strength, so the best skill trees to go into would be both the spear and the longsword. So we can go here, get the +5 strength pretty easily, and then go into the longsword strength and then +5 strength. So this is going to be a huge boost to our damage without a huge investment. You can continue on down into this tree here because there are some more buffs, like you can get your agility up and then our strength later down here, but it's really just about where you can find the points. If you're going to be going more into magic, the one-handed tree has magic and feathering on each side here, kind of similar to the other ones there, so you can get some huge buffs. Although it's more agility focused, which our weapon doesn't really scale off of, we're better off going into not even the blades tree here, because this one does have a +5 strength, but it is a little bit challenging to get to. You can spec into it though, because again, we want to grab as many benedictions as possible, and as you get into later levels, you're just looking for some stats after, and the disciplines too. So we can just continue along here, grabbing as many of these as possible, and then back down into the spear tree. The spear tree has a lot of endurance and health, so you can go over here, grab the +5 vitality, and then downwards here, there's a few more strength nodes if you wanted to grab them, or you can continue through here, because there will be an agility, which isn't super useful, but we can go around here and then grab the endurance. +5 endurance is always a nice one to add into it. And then if we want, we can get more vitality and strength going down the main line here. The nice thing is you can loop around and just grab the stats that you do want, and some of these have multiple stats that you can drop into them, so you can further increase your strength. And you can grab agility too. It will slightly boost up our damage, but it's almost better to go into a lot of the other ones, like obviously strength and vitality being the big ones. Now at this point, we can, if you're using spells, you may as well go down here and grab this, and then go into, like, if you're going for burn buildup, fiery embers is extremely useful. Again, just spec into the damage that you're choosing. You can always press X or square at any moment to refund this skill and then put it into another one. This again is something we're going to take now that we got more points into the tree. And also it's nice to just grab any of the further ones down the left hand side. More acupoints, always good. Getting our endurance up, and the final boost to our mana flask is also nice. Then we can also grab some of these ones for swift draws if you use them. Deflection doesn't really matter because we don't deflect on this build. So again, we're just going to go around the different skill trees, grabbing disciplines and stat boosts that we need for our characters. So yeah, we even missed one here, so we'll go and grab that, just ignore it. And then we can just finish off by grabbing a few different health buffs there. So that's the tree there. The nice thing about this build is you have lifesteal, and using spells like the ethereal form, we can make ourselves invincible, cast that up, go jump into a fight. I have the leech temperaments there. Somehow I was able to get the fire, maybe went into the fire there, but doing our charge attack there can clash with enemies. If they have blades, we can reduce the damage we take, but you saw there, our charge heavy does a lot of stagger damage. And then we also have the Rampage skill here, which does have a bit of a windup, but you go there, we now have heal back, so I guess I should take some damage to showcase that. So we go in for an attack here, we'll just use our casting spell there, we already got our health back. And the knockdown the weapon, that's the problem with the Great Axe, is sometimes you are a little too strong, that, yeah, not going to be able to, there we go, took a little bit of damage, so you can heal through the damage sometimes. We only got a couple hits in there, we got corruption, so we're going to actually be taking some damage over time. The nice thing is the ethereal form is so quick to cast too, so we got our drain going on there, and just a few attacks, we already got our health back. It's absurd how quick you heal yourself, especially when using Rampage in combination of the Leech Pendant, and then anything that boosts up your overall damage. We're going to be dishing out damage at a crazy rate. It's insane how much you can heal yourself for, and this makes, I posted build guides for like Zhao Yun. I use this exact build on it. It destroyed the secret boss of the game just because the ability to heal yourself, and especially later on when you get the Echo Bow Magus, this spell is really useful for just protecting yourself from 3 hits, so you can just use your most damaging attacks. It's crazy. Let me know if you have any questions though in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if this video is useful. Hope you have a great day, and we'll catch y'all in the next video.